Okay, we're headed into Miss Lee's class next. This is her second year teaching, first year on the campus. What was her last data?
Her last data for 4D was approaches at 69%, meets 38%, mastery 15%, which gave her domain 1 of 41%.
Okay, and based on your last feedback to her, what should we be expecting to see today?
So we're looking for, her waterfall steps was 5B, which is exemplar in hand comparing to student work.
All right, very good. Let's go in.
So, class?
Yes.
We have just finished the I do, so now it is time for the
We do.
And remember, when we go to the we do, who is doing the talking?
We are.
Because who is the teachers?
We are.
You are. Okay, and remember, during the we do, we are using our what?
Success
Criteria. So I will give you 5 seconds to grab your success criteria. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I see all of yellow table, blue table, green table, red table. Josiah, you've got your success criteria. Okay, good. So remember, we are always using our success criteria just like we did in the I do, and I'm going to go over it once before we begin. Remember, our first step is to read, reread, and annotate. Then you create a strip diagram, and using the strip diagram, we're going to write our equation, and then we will solve our equation using a place value chart. So, ready, set,
You bet.
that was a little bit. Try again. Ready, set,
You bet.
all eyes on me.
All eyes on you.
Let's see who's ready. Thank you, Josiah. Okay. So, teachers, what is our very first step when we begin the week?
Read,
And when we read, reread, and annotate, and we're working on a word problem, what do we do first?
Read.
Read. Okay, so everyone on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yasmin has a $10 bill to spend at the store. She bought 2 bracelets for $2.25 each, and a necklace for $4.45. How much change should Yasmin get from the $10 bill?
Now that we read, we are going to
Annotate.
When we annotate, do we read the whole thing or are we going to stop?
Stop.
We're going to stop after each sentence. Okay, ready for your first sentence?
Yes.
Ready, set, go.
Yasmin has a $10 bill to spend at the store.
So, number 3. What is one of the important information that you found in this first sentence? $10. Okay, $10. And why is $10 important? Would you like some help? Yeah, you want some help? Okay, Maria, why is $10 important?
It shows our total.
It shows our total. That's how much we're beginning with. So whatever I write, you write.
Just like that. Just like that.
Our total equals $10. And what are we going to do with this $10, Tristan?
Cents at the end.
We're going to put some cents at the end. And why are we putting our cents?
Because it might have cents.
We might have cents when we're working with money. Okay, so is there anything else that we need in this first sentence?
No.
No. Okay, so let's move on to our second sentence. All eyes up here. Okay, thank you, red table. Thank you, yellow table. Okay, ready? Go.
She bought 2 bracelets for $2.25 each, and a necklace for $4.45.
Okay, this time, number 7. What is something important you've noticed here?
Each.
Okay, each. What about each?
Two bracelets.
2 bracelets. So, what is 2 bracelets?
It's our equal group.
It's our equal groups. And what is our group size then?
Group size is $2.25.
$2.25. So, she told us we have 2 bracelets. Remember, we can just put our acronym. And she said that each of them is $2.25. Mohammed, if we have equal groups and group size, what do we need to do? What are we doing?
Time.
We're timing, we're multiplying. Can you say multiply? $2.25. So we have 2 bracelets for $2.25. And number 15. What is something else that you noticed from this sentence that we might need?
$4.45.
And what is the $4.45 for? Oh, she bought the necklace. And how many necklaces? 1, because A means 1. Okay, so we have a necklace. We can just write the N. And that's for $4.45. And I know that London kind of gave us a hint, but Tristan, what is it that we bought? Why is bought so important in this sentence?
Because you're giving away.
Oh, you're giving away, when you buy something, you're giving away what?
Decreases.
It decreases the amount of money. So, we know that bought means, what are we going to do?
Subtract.
Subtract. So we put our minus sign to remind us that when we're buying things, we are subtracting. Okay. I'll give you 5 more seconds. Let's see. Bought here. Good. I see that you're ready. Okay, is there anything else that we need from this sentence? No? Does anyone else know? No? Okay, so let's read our last sentence. All eyes? Thank you. Okay, ready? Go.
How much change should
Yasmin get from the $10 bill? So, number 8. What does this question ask us to find?
How much change?
How much change? And what do they mean by how much change?
Leftover.
Oh, change is the leftover. So what are we looking for?
Difference.
The difference, because it's how much is left over. So let's write difference. And what is our difference equal to right now?
Question mark.
Question mark, because do we know the difference?
No.
No, that's what we're looking for. I'm going to come around and check. Good job. Class?
Yes, yes.
So, have we finished reading, rereading, and annotating?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is our next step?
Create a stick diagram.
Okay, so I'm going to have Zephaniah. Can you please come up and help us? And I want you to tell the class what you're going to do. What do we need to do first? With what? With the total. Do you agree with Zephaniah that we need to make a total?
Yes.
Okay, I see agrees, so let's make our box for the total. And what is our total, Zephaniah? $10. And 0 cents, that's right. Okay, so Zephaniah, what do you need to do next?
Make 2 boxes.
Why are you making 2 boxes?
Because there are 2 bracelets.
Oh, 2 bracelets, and that's our what?
Equal group.
That's our equal group. So she's making 2 equal groups on the bottom. And what are you going to put inside those 2 equal groups?
$2.25.
Because what is $2.25?
Our bracelet.
Do you agree with her? Is that our group size? Yes, okay, I see people agreeing. So she's going to put $2.25 in each equal group. Okay, I see that. Good. And London put something on the bottom of each of those groups. What did you put, London? BY. Because they're bracelets, that's right. Okay. And Zephaniah, is there anything else you need to put on your strip diagram? What else do you need to put?
Another box.
Why do you need another box?
For our necklace.
Oh, because she also bought some necklaces. Okay. And how many necklaces?
1.
So how many boxes are you drawing? Okay. Oh, and she labeled N to let us know that it's necklaces. Okay, is there anything else that you need for your strip diagram? What is it?
Difference.
Oh, the difference. And I see that you left some space. Why did you leave that space? That we can have our difference, because difference is the amount of money what? Left. Good. Okay. Thank you. Let's give Zephaniah a round of applause. Did you finish creating a strip diagram? Yes. Okay, everyone. Then what is our next step?
Write an equation.
Okay, so we need to write an equation. Let's see.
All right, let's talk about what we just saw in Ms. Lee's class today. Let's start off with alignment. Did it align to the level of rigor of her upcoming assessment?
Yes, she had 4.5A and 4.4H. They both were aligned using strip diagrams with decimals.
All right, very good. And then how about opportunities to practice the skill independently, Ms. Lewis?
So that wasn't observed at this time.
Okay. And when we go over to student work has explicit strategies.
Yes, 13 out of 13 students were annotating what the teacher was marking on the board. Using the success criteria, she was checking it off, as well as having students verbally acknowledge which steps they were doing, and then annotating for that step.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. And how about equity and engagement, Ms. Wallace?
Yes, the equity and engagement at 9:59, 13 out of 13 students were observed, 100% of the students engaged. Then 2 minutes thereafter at 10:01, 13 out of 13 students once again were observed, engaged, participating. Teacher asked a number of assessing questions. First question that was asked was with regards to stamping the success criteria, reading, and annotating. Then that was done as a whole class. Teacher moved into the second phase of the success criteria, creating the strip diagram. Individual popsicle sticks were chosen to get students involved. Students answered the questions with regards to identifying the parts of the strip diagram. Thereafter, the third step of the success criteria, teacher utilized that opportunity to have the kids turn and talk with each other when they wrote the equations. And then finally, they came together whole class to solve the problem.
Thank you for that, very thorough. Let's now talk about praise. Going back to our prior feedback, was there an alignment between your prior feedback and the upgrade you saw today?
Yes, teacher did upgrade to have an exemplar in her hand the whole time.
All right, let's take a moment to talk about polish. We may have a few different ones here. What was something that you took notice of, Ms. Jones?
The gradual release for independence, just releasing the students a little bit more for independent practice.
Okay, and Ms. Lewis?
And in doing so, in releasing them so that they could have an opportunity to create those strip diagrams independently.
Dr. Sheldon, is there anything?
I was just thinking, I know we want her to release them, but have we thought about what we want that to look like? Like, what's the teacher action that we want to take place to see that in action when we come back? Any thoughts on that?
So having students work independently prior to her monitoring their steps, as well as working with peers, giving that work time and think time.
Definitely. Did we feel that her kids were ready for her to set a timer and just go at it?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yes. And what's the benefit of that before the independent practice? Any thoughts on that?
Setting the students up for mastery, giving them the opportunity to practice and think through the problem before mastery is required.
Yeah, it doesn't lower that cognitive level where they're just copying what they saw from you.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so where's that going to put her on the waterfall today?
And what are we stacking, Mr. Wallace? That's her waterfall?
As a waterfall today, I think we're going to be going into 4A.
Okay.
That what we're going to need her to do is have those students actually completing the work on their own before she provides an example on the board for them.
So within gradual release.
Gradual
Okay.
release. Right first, talk second.
All right, team. So as we debrief on our praise trends, our polish trends, and then our leadership actions to improve the classroom practices, I'm going to give you about 4 minutes to huddle and think through those practices, and then we'll share out and stamp some of those key leader moves that needs to take place so that we can see evidence, and when we'll schedule to come back and see it. Okay. So
Excellent.
4 minutes. Get started.
Ms. Jones and Ms. Lewis, what were some of the trends that you noted today?
We see some success criteria across the classrooms.
Problem-solving protocol was used. Each student had the problem-solving protocol, and that was referenced throughout the lesson.
Teachers were consistently on their timestamp for their schedules and gradual production.
Okay. And then when it comes to polish, what were some of the trends that you noted?
Teachers still are needing some practice with the gradual release doing what we do,
Mhm.
just to make sure students are, being able to lift that thinking
Mhm.
and move forward in that independent practice.
Okay, and looking at your coaching cycles coming up, where do you think you're going to fit in, how to model that for? Are you gonna model that for them? Are you gonna go side-by-side planning?
I think both.
You think
Both modeling and side-by-side planning.
Mhm.
All right, team, are we ready to record our, praise, polish, and our action steps?
Yes, we
Okay.
are.
Let's start with our praise, yeah.
Some of the trends we noticed praise-wise is everyone had their success criteria. They were using the exemplar in hand, use of the problem-solving model, and teachers were consistent with the use of the PowerPoints and on the timestamps today.
And I would just add that the evidence of seeing those exemplars in hand and using a success criteria, just to close the feedback loop from
Mhm.
our last visit, looked great today.
Okay, thank you
Thank
for that.
Okay, so we're ready to talk about our upgrade trends?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what did we find there?
We're looking at possibly two things, utilizing intentional engagement strategies in all classrooms. But specifically, I think our highest leverage is gonna be that gradual release during the we do,
Mm-hmm.
to allow the students to do that heavy lifting.
Okay. Yeah, definitely, and we always know that if we don't do the work in the we do, we're gonna work too hard in the you do, right?
Mhm.
Which
Absolutely.
ultimately impacts our DOL data, so let's think through, so what are some of the leadership actions that have to take place so that we see evidence of the intentional engagement strategies and gradual release during the we do in classrooms?
We've been working hard at scripting,
Mhm.
in the I do, but now I think it's time to do some scripting with the we do, just to make sure that we get that launch into the gradual release right. So we have the teachers practicing that along with the coaches. That's one of the things we've talked about. We're also looking at doing some modeling and then some real-time coaching.
Okay, so we're gonna utilize PLCs to do some scripting during the we do.
Mm-hmm.
I wanna ask the team just like a question, just so that we can get as intentional as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we want them to, what are some key things we want in their script if they're gonna release? Like, what are some key phrases that needs to take place? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on that?
I'm definitely thinking, just what we're gonna do now is I'm going to set the timer and I'm gonna
Set
give
the
you 2 minutes to give it your best shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna turn and share with the partner to check what we did
Okay.
to our partner, and then finally I'm gonna give you some feedback on what you've got.
Okay, so those are 3 things we want them to see. So I heard you say, set the timer,
Mm-hmm.
allow for some collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
and then the teacher pulls them back together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For review.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just making sure we're intentional with those things, and then while the kids are collaborating, while the kids are working, what do you guys think the teacher should be doing at that time? What can she do?
She's gonna be walking, or he's gonna be walking with their
Mhm.
exemplar in hand, and I think they really need to be, keeping a close ear for what the students are producing, and if it looks like they aren't ready, you can go back and you can model again,
Okay,
or if, some are still missing it, maybe at that time they can do a quick show call.
Yeah.
Just to get everybody back on the right track, and then.
yeah, I
get
like
back
that.
to work.
It's still collecting data in the moment, right?
Mhm.
If they know it, we can move forward. If they don't, then we know we have to stop the show pretty much, right? Okay, so what about our connection to the, engagement strategies? So we saw a good model in Ms. Lee's classroom of how to use those engagement strategies, so how do we get that across to the rest of them? Thoughts?
What have we done to kind of easy button for our teachers? Have we made sure that everybody might have those, popsicle sticks?
Yes, we,
Yes.
included some of those exemplars and, best practices,
Mm-hmm.
within PLCs, like sharing amongst, vertical sharing
Okay.
amongst team members, for best practices. As well as, looking forward, we're looking to have some, teacher calibrations as well, where they go and observe other classrooms for some best practices in the moment.
Okay. And when is that next PLC taking place?
Next week, next Tuesday.
That is the 4th.
Yep, next Tuesday.
The 12th?
Yep,
Yeah.
CAs are this week, so
The
next
12th.
Tuesdays, we'll.
Okay. And I know IOCs will support that as well, and can also see that evidence in action, that we're looking at those three things within the, script. And just making sure that we address the engagement strategies, swooping on those things and things like that, so.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for that. So good job today, really finding the highest leverage feedback for each teacher and also stamping those trends across the board, so, thank you.
Thank you.